Welcome Insiders to Tech Inside, I'm your host Eric. So not too long ago I did a review of my graphic card. I have the Nvidia GeForce GTX 760. This is a mid-range graphic card costing around $230 to $250. In all my experiences, I've really enjoyed this graphic card. It's fully capable of doing 1080p video editing. Obviously haven't tried 4K because I don't have a 4K camera. When it comes to gaming, gaming's excellent on it. For the most part, it can play any game at like really high settings. Of course, for like Crisis and stuff, you're gonna have to turn the settings down, but overall, it performs quite well. And I was thinking, what if I want to get even higher frame rates? What if I want to do multi-monitors? What if I want to shoot 4K video, etc, etc. I was thinking about this and I'm wondering, what graphic card should I upgrade to? And I was thinking, why do I have to upgrade and get a new card? Why can't I get just two 760s and put them in SLI? So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So if you haven't figured out the basic gist of this video, we're going to be talking about two 760s in SLI. Now what does that exactly mean? Basically, we have two graphic cards, two 760s that are exactly the same, and there's this little bridge connector that you can get. Sometimes your motherboard might come with them, other times you might have to buy it. Nonetheless, you basically plug both graphic cards together, and they're going to be working together and performing as a team. Short disclaimer though, I haven't actually done this yet. I do not own two 760s, and I have not put two 760s in my computer behind me, but what I am going to tell you, what I'm going to show you, is what I believe, what I support. So yeah, let's just start off with some benchmarks of some games and tests and whatnot. So right this second, we're going to be comparing these 760s to one 780. A 780 is going to cost a bit more than one 760, also going to be a bit more powerful, but with two 760s, let's see how it does. So looking at the Firestrike benchmark, I got a score of 11,608, and on the 780, I got a score of only 8,734. So already you're going to see that the 760s are definitely pulling ahead. Looking now at some actual games, Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 got 113 frames per second with the 760s, and on the 780 we got only around 90 frames per second. Now looking at Borderlands 2, we got a little bit of a different change. For the 760s, we got 127 frames per second, but on the 780, we got a score of 131 frames per second. So the 780 is pulling ahead in this test. Flipping around again though, Crisis 3, which is a very demanding game, got 40 frames on the 760 and only around 30 frames on the 780. Now on BioShock Infinite, we got around 110 frames per second on the 760s and only around 90 frames per second on the 1780. Now I can keep going on and on about the 760 versus the 780 and showing you frames per second for tons and tons of games, but I'm not going to do that because I think it's going to be wasting your time then. If you want to see any more official benchmarks, click the link down below. This is where I actually got most of my information from. Nonetheless though, what you can really get out of this is, in general, the two 760s are going to do better than the one 780. So like I said, basically, these 760s do better than the 780. Sometimes the difference isn't a whole lot, but sometimes it's a lot. And looking at pricing though, one 780 is going to cost you around 500 to 600 bucks, probably nowadays more around 500, when one 760 is going to cost you around 250 to 230 bucks. So at the end of the day, you're going to be paying a similar price for both graphic cards. Either you get one 780 that's going to cost around 500, or you're going to get two 760s that will cost around 500. So at this point you might be thinking, okay, if they're going to be the same, obviously the 760s are better. I'm going to go with the 760s. And that's a great idea in some aspects. That's definitely what I want to do, but there's some drawbacks. The first drawback is going to be your motherboard. Now I'm expecting most people that are going to be upgrading their graphic cards probably built their own computer. I'm not sure, but you need to look at the motherboard and you need to see if your motherboard is SLI supported. Unfortunately, I didn't think about this and my motherboard is not. So if you do not have an SLI supported motherboard, you're going to have a lot to do to rebuild your computer around a different motherboard that is SLI supported. Also, if your motherboard is SLI supported, you're also just going to need to get a little bridge. Sometimes SLI supported motherboards come with a little SLI bridge, sometimes they don't, so you have to take a look. So if you have an SLI supported motherboard, great for you, you're already a bit ahead. But now I have to take a look at the power supply. Now, this always depends on your system. I don't know what specs you have in your computer, but you're probably going to need at minimum a 750 watt power supply. If you don't, you might have to upgrade. And with power mentioned, like I said, yes, you're gonna need a decent power supply with enough wattage for 2 graphic cards. And if you get a higher watt power supply that will support these graphic cards, you're also going to be paying a higher electricity bill because it's gonna cost you more money to run your computer. I'm not sure if that really matters to you, but just gonna let you know. Also, you might have to worry about heat. One 760 does pretty well with heat management, at least in my experiences, and 2 760s are gonna produce a bit more heat. I'm not saying you have to go all water cooling and stuff in your custom PC, but just keep that in mind. Maybe you have to add an extra fan or something. So in conclusion, are 2 760s worth it? In my opinion, I would say yes. If you can get past the motherboard, the power supply, and the cooling that's needed, I think it's a great way to go, and I think you'll be saving some money in the long run. Compared to a 780 and 2 760s, yeah, they're roughly around the same amount of money, but even compare the 2 760s to a Nvidia Titan card. The Nvidia Titan was $1,000 when it came out. Not sure what it is right now, but it's probably still a decent amount of money, and the 2 760s will actually outperform that. I know I didn't talk about it in this video, but it actually does outperform the Titan in some aspects, and that's just insane. So guys, let me know, what do you guys think about 2 760s? Do you have 2 760s, or are you now gonna get 2 760s now that I made this video? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you want to see any other things with graphic cards, gaming computers, Hackintosh, I don't know, let me know in the comments below if you want me to do any more benchmarks I didn't cover in this video for my 760 graphic card. Again, let me know. Anyway guys, my name's Eric, this is Tech Inside, I'll see you in the next one.